isn't this fun? And I have crap happening in my background, of course. You know what? It's gonna be one of those days. I guess. It's just sure. Anyway.
Not that.
Thank God. But welcome to the Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where the tea is piping hot and we are always ready to spill. I'm Logan Murphy, just a gay, here with coffee as always, because it's a morning recording and, coffee is necessary.
And I'm Mari Forth. I'm a guest here with my bestie, my birthday twin.
Oh!
I have my cup, my pride possession, my chip cup from Disney. And it's filled with hot chocolate because I'm 6.
I love it. Mari, it is about damn time that we are back together, kind of, sort of, to podcast.
Yes.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, for people that don't know, this is one of my day ones, honest to God. Like,
day ones.
But we actually both started our podcasting journeys together, though it never got released. But we both started, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Because we decided to attempt to try to cover Big Brother season 21. Thank God we stopped.
Yeah.
But we tried, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Yeah, a pesky little pregnancy kind of got in the way of all of that.
It happens. It happens. And now you're doing all the RHAP things, which we love to see.
Thank you.
And we're both, back podcasting, finally back together to talk about Legendary.
Yeah. All that matters. It doesn't matter how late it happens. It's just that it happens. Don't worry. And I'm so glad to be here to do a little Legendary podcast, just a little taste of the Legendary or what is it? But, we're going to give you the full meal.
Yes. Always. I do want to preface before we start. We are not members of the ballroom scene.
No.
We are just people that love the ball scene.
Yes.
So I can't speak for Mari, but I will not be critiquing the legitimacy of what happens in the performances. I leave that to Icon Naomi.
Same. I watch and I'm like, okay, whatever. What does Naomi have to say?
Exactly.
Every time,
honestly, it's been Naomi, and then this season it was Dominique Jackson.
Yes.
On the 9th episode I was like, okay, I'm gonna tune in. But yes, so we are just here to appreciate and show our love for Legendary because it is back. It is almost over. Yeah. We're just gonna do a full season recap because at this point, doing it episode by episode is just kind of a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we can even start with how they dropped the season. So, I watch Legendary 1 and 2. I'm assuming you watch Legendary 1 and 2, of course.
Give us faves. Give us faves from the first 2 seasons.
From the first 2 seasons, oh my God! Like season 1 is just out of my brain. I'm not gonna lie, but
Valid.
Season 2 was just so good because we had Tishi, Miyake Mugler, and Balenciaga. Like those 3 houses felt like juggernauts that it felt like it made everybody around them better. And this season is truly missing that to me.
I think I would agree with you. I actually just went back and started rewatching season 2, and I just watched episode 6. Which I think we all remember very, very. Yes.
Was it art episode? Oh,
or it was the episode of the dramatics and the
episode.
I don't want to spoil necessarily. Okay, spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. I just watched Tishi get eliminated again, and it hurts the second time. It hurts the second time even episode more.
6. Yeah.
It was 5 or 6, something like that.
Okay.
But honestly, Miyake Mugler, Balenciaga, for me, season 1, it was Balmain. It was always going to be Balmain. Yeah, Balmain. It always is going to be Balmain. Like, I really do appreciate, though, this season that we didn't really get a whole lot of those big juggernaut houses because we saw...
Really?
Because we kind of saw both sides of that on season 2, where we had, obviously, Miyake Mugler doing phenomenally, Balenciaga, Tishi, but then you also look at someone like Chanel, who goes out first. And so I appreciated seeing kind of these smaller houses, these newer houses. We had 2 Kiki houses in this season, which I also thought was
a really... 2?
Yes, technically. So Juicy Couture is the one that is advertised. But when, I guess spoilers for the rest of the podcast, really. But when, all spoilers. Sorry, go watch Legendary season 3. But like, you're gonna be spoiled here. When the house of Ada gets eliminated, Father Poppy Ada says, "We're just happy to be a Kiki house representing the Pacific Northwest."
Really?
So I'm using his words and not like it's not. They're not advertised like on the official like the Wikipedia and the fandom page and everything like that. They're not listed as the Kiki House of Ada, whereas Juicy Couture is listed as the Kiki House of Juicy Couture. But I'm gonna go off of what Father Poppy is saying.
Exactly.
So I believe there's 2, but Juicy Couture is like the one that has been advertised as that.
The politics of ballroom is very intricate, and so I'm not even gonna like sit here and pretend to know it. Like,
no.
I don't want to be that person, but I'm just like, yes, I've watched The Paris is Burning. I've watched The Queen. You know, I've watched Pose. I've watched My House, but I am not an expert. I am not going to sit here and pretend that I know everything because I watched a few things. Like that's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? So like it is really good to see like an art being brought to the mainstream. And enjoyed by the mainstream. But I think as mainstream audiences, we also need to be cognizant that this isn't just like I used to watch America's Best Dance Crew back in the day. So Naomi, Vogue Revolution, loved it. This is not that, guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? This isn't that. This a whole culture and a community comes attached to this. So you need to be very respectful when talking about this. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we have long histories in reviewing reality TV competition series. So we're gonna approach it like that, but also we're gonna try and give as much due respect to the art form as possible, because I think that cannot be said enough.
I everything you said I completely agree with. Like I said at the start, like we are not experts. I'm not trying or claiming to be an expert. I am just someone who finds this so fascinating, and like the art that these people do with their bodies. From an art historian perspective, and as someone who like my dissertation when I get there is going to be in performance art. Like this is something that I just love and respect so much, which is why we wanted to like talk about it in the first place, just because like I have a lot of opinions and I'd like to talk about it, but I also want to be incredibly respectful of this art form and this culture that has been around for way longer than I've existed.
Exactly.
So, but with that said, I do like that we only really had one big name house from what it seems like in La
Beja. Okay, so like yes, again, I'm sitting here like when we're watching like the first grand marches and the names are ticking off, I'm like, who? Okay, sure. So it's very interesting that we only get the one big name.
I think the other like the other biggest name, I think, and I'm probably wrong, it would be the House of Revlon.
Yes, Revlon. Yes. This is the branch. This is the European branch of it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. And speaking of branches and all of that, do we want to talk about the production of the formation of these houses? Because
please.
So, obviously, I follow and have followed Aja LaBeija for a very long time. So seeing her on this season was a thrill, a delight.
Amazing.
We'll get to LaBeija in a bit because we'll get there. But Aja was very forthcoming after their elimination.
Oh, great.
Talking about how the houses, like the houses themselves, weren't allowed to pick who was representing the house, and that production chose who was going to represent specifically LaBeija. I'm not sure if it happened that way with other houses.
That's interesting. That sounds kind of familiar because last season, again, it's been a whole pandemic.
Yeah.
But last season, you know how HBO was doing their official Legendary podcast.
Yes.
I listened to most of those. Of course, I listened to the Tishy episode.
Of course,
and I do remember there being rumblings of like the houses that you see on there might be people that just met, like, type of deal.
Yeah.
So I do remember hearing rumblings of it. It's not like
it's not a foreign concept.
Yeah. So was there any more to you about that, Logan?
It was pretty much Aja was just like, I love my house, I love these people, but like these aren't the people I necessarily would have picked. Is kind of the vibe that Aja was getting at. Mm-hmm. I think she's since deleted the tweets actually, or else I would try to go like pull them. Mm. But because when we look at LaBeija on this season is such an interesting enigma for me, because you look at the house and they're the only house that has crossed both domestic and international. When you look at Frida LaBeija, who's from Sweden and is from the international branches of LaBeija. And so having Frida in this competition, while I think she's a fantastic performer, it felt a little strange in a way. And I'm not all that surprised. And I think a lot of the critiques of I can tell you're a house, I can tell you're a family, which we've gotten over the 3 seasons from, I think, every single judge.
Yeah, they're always like, I can feel it. It's like, okay, I guess.
It's like, so are you aware of the fact that production is picking and choosing? Like, I'm curious whether at that point, do the houses like submit, like, I don't know, 10 people and production chooses? Do you submit multiple fathers, multiple mothers? Like, how does that work then?
That was going to be my question too, because you're saying Aja said that they picked. So I'm like, they have to pick from a pool, you know?
Yeah.
And I wonder that too, because another thing that I remember from the podcast from last year was like, you know, some of these people are well known, but not just well known, they're well known to the judges. So like, I remember last year they were saying like how Arichi was the one who took out Tishy, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
Was it? You just watched it? Yeah,
I did. Well, I was like, that's on the tip of my tongue. Yes, yeah, it was Arichi.
Because what they were kind of saying was Father Arichi knows Leiomy personally. So they were saying like sometimes that can affect the judging as well. Law in one of the grand marches points out that he knew Devo's work. So I mean that's another fact. That's kind of like another factor you have that I think weighs in here. But going back to House of LaBeija, like I popped huge, not just for Aja because the girl, she's stunning.
Obviously,
like Drag Race down. But Jelani LaBeija was on my house. And last year, I completely lost my shit when I saw Tatiana on Miyake Mugler, because my house was like, I love that show. I was like tweeting it back in like 2018. And she actually responded to one of my tweets. And I was like, yes. Like,
Tati is like amazing. I love Tati. I love Tati.
So when I saw her like on Legendary, I was like, oh my God, you know, I was always rooting for them. And so when it all shook out and they won, I was so happy for her.
Yeah.
And then to see Jelani on House of LaBeija, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for him, because in my house, he was basically like a virgin, like a ballroom virgin. And he was trying to like really like he's trying to make a name for himself. Like he was literally, of the people that they followed in that show, he was one of the people who was like literally at the bottom trying to work his way up. We saw him go to like some Kiki balls to try and make a name for himself, while also doing some of the mainstream ones. And it just always seemed like he would be that close and then just you know not be able to make it. But so I was really happy to see him here too. But the moment you said that they picked people for the house, it all made sense to me, because I think the one thing about LaBeija was they could just never get it together in a group performance. I think that was the problem, unfortunately.
Yeah. So going back to what you were talking about with like the judges knowing people, I look specifically and exclusively to the top 3 of season 2. Mm-hmm. Because don't get me wrong, Stasha Sanchez Garzon is one of my favorite figures in the pageant and ball world. But obviously, Comme des Garçons was going to go far because of Stasha. And I love Shannon Balenciaga, but Balenciaga was going to go far because of Shannon. Like, and I don't want to say that it's exclusively because of that, because I think both of those houses performed exceptionally well. But when you look at, and I know a lot of people after season 2 aired talked about judging inconsistencies, and that's why it has gotten brought up a few other times on this season, and why people backstage are kind of like, there's a lot of discourse about that. Because for me, as much as I love Balenciaga and I love Comme des Garçons and Miyake Mugler to an extent, honestly, it felt as though they always got passes on things that other houses didn't. And so only having the one legendary house of LaBeija kind of has opened the door this season where, like, we'll talk about Juicy Couture. I think on any other season, I don't think Juicy Couture makes the top 2.
That's a hot take that I will not agree with. So I can't wait to talk about that.
Oh, okay. I'm going to edit that. I think Juicy Couture makes it far. I don't think Yoji Yamamoto makes top 2 on another season.
That part. I
think Juicy Couture maybe does because they're just flat out talented.
They're just so good. Yeah.
But like, and that's what I love about, we'll talk about the top 2, but that's what I love about this top 2 is that neither one of these houses are like incredibly well known. Like LaBeija, Comme des Garçons, Balenciaga, Tishi, Miyake Mugler, Balmain, like these are houses that people know. Like, even if you're not all that attuned, it's like, oh, I've heard of Balenciaga before. Oh, I've like, or at least you think of like the brands or the city or whatever that they're associated with. And I really like that this season, it kind of is like 2, not necessarily underdogs, but like developing houses.
Yeah.
Have made the final.
I think, isn't Machiavelli like, I know
Machiavelli is fairly well renowned.
Yeah, it's fairly well known. I believe Boogie Machiavelli put them on the map. He was like a legendary Butch Queen. Realness with a Twist.
Yes,
Realness with a Twist. He like innovated it. So which also makes sense to me because they were another group that they couldn't get their group dancing numbers down, but they killed all of the battles and stuff. So
I went to check my notes and I was correct in my thought process because it's been a minute since I watched the Grand Marches. But what is her name? The mother of the House of Machiavelli. I'm blanking.
Oh, Jada.
Mother Jada talked in their first intro package about how she had been New York City mother from the time that Boogie passed. So I also don't think she had been mother of the house for very long either.
Yeah, he just passed within the past 2 years.
Because of COVID, I believe.
No, he was murdered.
Oh, just kidding.
I looked all of this up. Yeah.
Good. Thank you for doing that because I didn't. Yeah. Not great, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Should we get into just kind of going through the houses and the order they're eliminated?
Sure. We can start with the house that goes first. Oh boy. It's the House of Light. The House of Light. This was legendary history. I mean, legendary history for being legendarily bad.
Yeah. Okay. So I just rewatched like the Grand Marches, fresh. So again, when I remember watching it originally, like the Grand Marches, I love the Grand March episodes because they introduce you to each house. It splits them up, so they introduce you to each house so that you can get a feel about them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of like the more they talked about themselves, I was like, that's kind of a red flag. That's kind of a red flag. That's
right?
Kind of a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Founded in 2020, again, after Legendary was established. Okay. The father of the house, did I even get his name? I don't even think I got his name.
I've got it. One moment. Riku.
Father Riku. Okay, Father Riku. I love the reasons why he says he started the house. He said he
absolutely.
He moved to LA to become a dancer. It didn't work out. He fell into like substance abuse issues. He started the House of Light as a way to like stay clean and then to help others and stuff like that.
Fabulous.
But then he started saying that his house is a house of professional dancers.
Red flag.
They acknowledge red flag. They acknowledge one ballroom version there. Okay.
Cool.
And it was giving very inauthentic, even from the jump. Like, even from the jump, I was like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. Again, I am no expert. So I was sitting here like, okay, well, let's see. Yeah. And because again, like from the podcast from the season 2, they were talking about houses that would make houses just to come on the show. So I was wary of that coming into the season because of the rising popularity, stuff like this would happen. So then they did their performance. Even I rewatched the performance because I remember originally coming away from the performance like that wasn't that great. I rewatched the performance and I realized I was like, no, it was good. It was technically good. Like they were technically good, but it just, like Laomi said, she said she hated it. She's like, there's a term called nogging. That's what this was. Dead.
Dead. Just dead.
And and she just said it wasn't. She said it wasn't genuine. She's like, anybody can learn the steps of voguing, but I don't feel it. I don't feel what you guys are doing. Gives them a 3. Lowest score, Legendary history.
I think the lowest overall score as well for a performance. They score a 19.
A 19. Wow.
Which I think is the lowest. So yeah, because they get a 6 from Law and a 5 from Jamila. And we didn't even talk about our new guest judge.
Oh my gosh, oops.
Kiki. Mother effing Palmer.
Yes.
Who I love. I will say, this is nothing against Kiki, because I think, honestly, she's been a phenomenal judge this season.
I think so as well.
I do miss the energy that Megan Thee Stallion brings.
I do.
And like, honestly, can we just say like, bye Jamila Jamil and just keep Kiki Palmer and bring Megan Thee Stallion back?
Jamila writes the checks, so she kind of got to be there, I guess.
So I don't know. I don't know if you share this opinion, Mari. Mm-hmm. I am a Jamila Jamil hater, specifically in the context of Legendary.
Oh, wow.
I understand that she writes the checks. Yes. And I think that's lovely and wonderful.
It's amazing.
She has no place in any of these 3 seasons.
Not at all. But,
not at all.
It is what it is, I guess. Because when Legendary first was announced, it was Jamila Jamil, Legendary, Ballroom, and everybody's like, no, this is not right. And, and she was like, no, I'm just one of several guest judges, and we're going to have Naomi, and da-da-da-da-da. Do I think they could have way more Legendary judges? I think so. Ballroom judges, I think
honestly, yes, Dominic Jackson. Mm-hmm. Shannon Balenciaga. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Shannon Balenciaga. I think Shannon would make a great judge.
Or I mean, Deshaun. I mean, he's right there. Like
I love Deshaun.
I love him emceeing though. So
I'd be down to see him MC and judge. Honestly,
I think he should break the tie. I think he should break ties.
I agree completely.
Mm-hmm.
I agree completely. Because it's like, okay, we're gonna let these guest judges, who I will say this season are a little bit closer to the world of ballroom. You know, we had obviously beautiful icon legend Dominique Jackson. Issa Rae, I thought was a lovely guest. Bob the drag queen, I thought was just phenomenal.
My fave.
A white twink I didn't know. Leslie Jones.
All right. So I'm just glad. I was like, who is this? Who is this?
Had not a single fucking clue who this might. Jake Wesley Rogers, you are probably a phenomenal human. You have no place in this, but you're probably fine.
Oh my gosh.
I was
like, I have no idea who this is.
And then honestly, if you eliminate the white twink, it is literally Anita, Issa Rae, Bob the drag queen, and then a triple header of Leslie Jones, Kelly Rowland, and Dominique Jackson.
I mean, come on with it. And
Leslie Jones was giving me everything that she did in Drag Race, but just even more. And I want one of these competition reality shows to pick up Leslie as a
permanent judge.
What show it is.
Right. I mean, she could do sports because she does a great job with the Olympics. So somebody just get her on a panel.
When Johnny and Tara stop doing their Olympics coverage, they have to bring in Leslie Jones.
Something.
Or honestly, bring her in now. I think the three of them would have phenomenal chemistry. That's just me. Clearly, we don't want to talk about the House of Light.
I know. That's I was just about to say we have nothing.
I love like you said, I love the idea behind why he wanted to start the house. I think that's phenomenal and lovely and wonderful. But at the end of the day, me not knowing a whole lot about ballroom, it did not give what they did not give what needed to be gave.
Exactly. It just had to happen, to be quite honest. And if Laomi says it, I believe every word that's coming out of her mouth, because I truly, even as somebody who, like you said, doesn't watch a ballroom, something was not sitting right in my spirit. It was not sitting right. And
that would be like if I attempted to Vogue. Like, honestly, that's what it would be. That's what it would be. But yeah, so the House of Light is sent home first by the House of Machiavelli, represented by Mara Machiavelli, the first of many opportunities this season where we get to see the House of Machiavelli in a redemption battle. We'll talk about it.
Yes, but can we talk about the second he decided to shoot, it was just like it was done. I love those the judges' face cams. Like I absolutely love those, because I love seeing their faces just crack at a moment, or I love seeing them like their excitement. Like those judge face cams are perfect. I love them. But yeah, the moment he started shooting, who was it, Laomi or was it Kiki? They're like,
I think it was Kiki. I think it was Kiki. Kiki, the queen of face. Honestly, the queen of facial expressions this season. I don't remember when it's from, but it impacted me enough that I remember it. Where there's one point where Kiki's watching somebody perform. It was probably Juicy Couture. Let's just be honest here. And she fully goes, and it's just like wide-eyed over the arm of her chair, just like. And I love her. I love her. She has been a lovely breath of fresh air on this season.
Yeah.
Nothing against Megan, because I think Megan is a phenomenal judge.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Megan had more time, I would say pick up Megan for like one of these shows if it's not legendary.
So the thing with I kind of agree. I saw somebody say this on Twitter, but like Kiki, like she's not like a star power like Megan. She doesn't have that but she is like, she has that acting background. She has that dance background, that technically trained like entertainment style background, and she knows how to give a good critique. So I actually do like her critiques a little bit more than Megan, because I think Megan's just like, that's lit, or no, I don't know what happened. So I think Kiki gives way more useful critiques that the houses can actually apply.
I was going to say more versatile critiques as well, because she does have the acting, the performing, the singing, like she has all those background. And so she's very good. And I've noticed this in her critiques as well. She's very good about giving a specific critique on a specific thing, not necessarily the technique of ballroom, because she knows well enough to leave it to Laomi or even Law at this point. I think Law, I listen to Law normally, but Law has been really weird this season with his judging and his love of Alpha Omega, which I understand because I also did. But Kiki is like, from a performing aspect, this is where I'm going to critique you, and this is how I'm going to judge you, which I love. Where I feel like I feel like Jamila specifically, and to an extent Law as well, kind of try to bring in the like, oh, you didn't do that 360 properly, or oh, you weren't giving soft and cunt in this Vogue Femme category. But I think Kiki's smart enough to be like, hey, this is my first season here. I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to give you a critique from a performance standpoint, but I'm not even going to try to be like, that you did was technically wrong, because I don't know better.
And I actually like her critique. She was like, yeah, you did great, I'll give you a 6, which was like, I love that moment.
It's giving Laomi judging, because she'd be like, I thought this was pretty good, 5. Like, I'm sorry.
But I wasn't mad at it, because for me it's like Kiki is like trying to be nice and give like to help them, and then give the only time I'm pretty sure everybody kind of had a problem was when she gave that 10. I can't even remember who she gave it to, but
I have scores up. I'm kind of curious.
Where did she gave that 10 to? Was it House of was it Yamamoto? It was like one of the middle. It was one of the middle episodes, and then Jamila was like, "You cannot give them a 10 just because, like,
just because you like them."
Yeah.
Oh, it was Machiavelli.
It's a Machiavelli. Oh, geez.
Yeah,
I should have known.
It was Machiavelli in the God, what was that episode 6? Was that Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible.
So, she gives them a 10 in the Mission Impossible, where everybody else gives either a 7 or an 8. And Jamila just goes off. She's like, you don't need to be giving a 10 for community service. It's like, I'm sorry, Jamila.
Kiki said, oh, are we still talking about that? I loved it. Kiki, she hung in there, man. This season.
Kiki being able to shade Law, Jamila, and at one point Laomi.
Yeah.
And Laomi took it and was like, that was good. Like multiple times, Law and Laomi were like,
times.
And I love that Kiki can take it in stride too. She's like, no, that was good. No, you're right. You're right.
I was like, oh my God, she can hang with him. Like, Law couldn't say a thing after she read him. I was like, this is ridiculous. I love it. And I as much as I love Meg Thee Stallion, like, as much as I love her, I truly think that Kiki, I would want to see her take the seat permanently.
If it's one or the other,
right?
Like if there's only one spot, I think I would agree with you, at least for another season.
Yeah.
Because then they will both have had 2 seasons, maybe reevaluate from there. But I definitely think Kiki has done a phenomenal job and has served the look every single function.
Yep.
Like Laomi is serving looks, Jamila is serving, I don't know what the fuck, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I just think to the Animal Queendom, when she has that like severe cat eye with the contacts, with the hair that looks like shit. What were those pieces of highlight not in a pattern? I don't know. I just don't love Jamila Jamil. Like,
It's not giving.
No. Should we go on to our eliminated house from part 2 of the Grand March, which I was honestly really surprised hearing from all of the houses that second we end up losing the House of Demure Versailles.
Yeah.
So this is, I have names. This is Mother, Aaliyah, Kiara, Christian, Cotton, Ken, and Lash.
So I will say, they were one of those houses where like there was no hook to them. Like they were kind of, when they were introducing themselves, they were kind of like boring. It was just like there was no like fire to them. I actually like their looks on the runway more than their looks in their house introductory. Like why did they like I don't know, I don't understand. Like I'm looking at 3 femme queens here like on the poster, but in their house introduction there was no wigs in sight, there were no makeup in sight. What is happening?
Yeah, I was really confused by the way so confused. And like I thought Mother Aaliyah Kiara was stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. I believe she's legendary. I think
legendary saying. That's what I think I saw.
For a category. Again, I'm sorry, I don't remember which one, but I'm not going to try to say a category and have it be wrong, but definitely not my place to do so. But it kind of felt like she was trying to do what Shannon Balenciaga did a lot of season 2 and just serve face and serve what she can, and it didn't have the impact in the way that Shannon Balenciaga has the impact.
Oh my god. I was trying to pull up a little bit more about Aaliyah's background, and a video popped up. Oh, Jesus, scared me. Sorry to the live audience. To the audience. Yeah, no. So I agree with you. I wrote down she should have came out later. You know what I'm saying? In their performance, because she came out, she did exactly what you said Shannon does. She just walked. I think Law even pointed out that she's kind of like doing old way Vogue. Like
she was. She, I believe, at one point in the introduction talked about old way in some capacity. I don't.
Remember and that's what she was serving, but she started out there with them, right? Like she started on the floor with them.
Oh, look at me taking notes on her legendary categories. Hey, look at me.
Look at you. You're prepared.
I try sometimes,
Better than me and my video pop-ups.
Mother Aaliyah Kiara is a 2-time legend. She walks legendary runway and legendary best dressed.
Okay, legendary runway. That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
So, like, again, it pains me because I think if she had her children do most of it and then pull a Shannon and come out later, it would have worked way better. But it felt like for all of, like, she was out there, and then for all of their performance, she was just walking around them, and it was too much. Like they said, it was just like it was too much going on, but also not enough. I don't understand why they had the orange pom-pom things, because what's on this picture that we have up, this is what they performed in. I did not understand why they had those orange pom-pom things on their hands, because I'm like, don't we want to see their hands? Like, isn't,
right?
I would want to see them so I can see your voguing, your line to all that. I don't know. But like
your hand performance, like if you're going to serve the 5 elements of Vogue, one of them is hand performance, and I want to see your hands.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a little weird. So it was a misstep. I don't think I saw them going home in this episode. I was a little shocked.
No, because so they score 20. They do get the lowest score of the evening, but then we do actually get a tie for first, to nobody's surprise, between Juicy Couture.
Oh, for first. Okay.
For first. Well, there's a tie for first and a tie for third.
Oh, there was? Oh.
Yeah. So Juicy Couture and Yoji Yamamoto both tie in this Grand March episode with 32.
Really?
Not that they win anything, because there's no winning, there's no superior house for this. But then Ada and Alan Meekley both tie with 28. I guess we could talk about this for a moment, because there is a tie. They have the judges, because there's no guest judge. The judges have to come together and unanimously decide which house they want to compete in the redemption battle. They end up choosing Ada, which I thought was an interesting choice. We'll get to Ada in a moment, but I thought in the Grand March performances, I personally preferred Ada's to Alan Meekley.
Same. I truly did as well. I thought Alan Meekley's costumes got in the way of most of what they were doing.
Talk about Alan Meekley. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I thought it was interesting that they said, show us what Pacific Ballroom, show us if you really are ballroom to Ada, and when they put them in the bottom there.
Especially because they were missing a member week 1. That was the other thing that kind of threw me off, is like, they did equal, if not better, than what Alan Meekley did, down a member. For that alone, I would have chosen them to be safe.
So we get House of Ada versus House of Demure Versailles. And it was weird to me because we had Cotton Demure Versailles versus what was
Virgo Ada.
I was looking at Cotton the whole entire time, and I was like, oh, she's killing it. And then when they said Virgo won, I rewound the tape. And I watched Virgo, and I'm like, okay. They basically said that the battle itself was not that great. So they picked the person whose energy they love the most. And basically Virgo was, he was serving. He was like getting in her space. He was doing very giving season 1 ballroom almost like a legend, season 1, a legendary, like really trying to get Cotton off her marks. And unfortunately he did do that. Like Cotton was voguing down and was doing really good with the elements, but she was afraid, and you could see it in her eyes,
it was the face, I think, definitely kind of took it out. Plus, I feel like saying whose energy we liked more is basically like, Ada scored a 28, Demure Versailles scored a 20, so we're just gonna go back to how the scores were. Because I think that was one of the biggest discrepancies in points. Because even if you look at Grand March Part 1, House of Light gets 19, but Machiavelli only gets 23.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I think that's the biggest discrepancy between
in the bottom houses.
Between the bottom houses,
Yeah. I just, if we're going purely off the battle, I would not have chosen Ada to continue personally.
I don't think I would have either, but we'll talk about Ada because I have honestly a deep love for Ada. They're one of my favorites of the season.
Okay.
But yeah, losing Demure Versailles, I didn't expect it. Like you were saying, I didn't expect it. But based on what was given, I guess overall, if you equate, the all house performance with the redemption battle performance, one was bad and one was great, whereas Ada was kind of solid in both, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So,
all right, Elaine Meekley.
The house
our third house to go.
Alan Meekley was a peculiar house, I think. I did not particularly love them. I'm gonna be honest.
Again, between them and Demure Versailles, I think I've written the least about the both of them. Like they didn't give me anything. Go girl, give us nothing. Like that's like legit what it felt like. And like I said, and at least in the Grand March, this was part 2, right? That they're in Grand March Part 2. It was like, look at these costumes. Law said he liked the costumes and all that. I didn't. I thought it was too bulky. And then their choreography I couldn't tell if their choreography seemed to suggest that they were in the band. Like this looked like this, like it was lots of whistles, and like they did like the band movements where one person would start and then the other people would go, like very Beyonce Homecoming. But the costumes to me aren't giving band. It's kind of giving, this picture makes it look better, but it was giving soldiers to me. It was giving soldiers, You know what I'm saying? And then even in the back, some people, when they were talking about the costumes, didn't somebody say like they thought they were like space cadets or something? Like somebody said they thought they completely pirates. Somebody said they thought they were pirates.
Yeah. Like, come on now.
Like
Not
the costuming was so confusing. And I know that's not their whole fault. You know, they give the designers an idea and the designers make it for it. But I did not like the costumes. I thought the costumes got in the way. I thought their performance was boring to me. I didn't like it.
And then the performance they go home on is the Animal Queendom, where they do this bird idea, which in concept, I really liked. The concept of these 5 individual birds coming together and forming their own flock. That's a lovely.
Was that the concept?
That was the concept.
Get it?
I watched a couple of the episodes of the season last night with a friend while we were hanging out. And they were saying that it was 5 different birds coming together, forming their own flock. And then that was the idea, which I like. The problem is all of the costumes minus Sparkles were bad.
Yeah, that makes sense now because I didn't get it at all. I thought this was probably the worst episode of the season.
Episode 3. Agree. And I know we'll probably do superlatives at the end. This was my least favorite theme.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Not a good episode.
It was so vague in a way that I don't necessarily want it to be all that vague.
And they did something like this last season though, right?
I believe so. It was. Let's look real quick.
I want to say they did, but I can't remember. I think
so.
I just wasn't surprised when they were the next to go. I guess that's the biggest thing. For me.
Right. So last season we had Tinseltown, 7 Deadly Sins, Pop-Tart, Plastic Fantastic, The Ovaball, Ice House. I guess Electric Jungle is probably the closest.
I think that was the one I was thinking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, because that was the finale. But Alan Meekley didn't really give me anything. They also end up in the bottom against, shocker, Machiavelli. I also don't love Machiavelli. I'm just going to say that up front. I don't necessarily love them. They're not one of my favorites. But it's Goldie Machiavelli up against Summer Alan Meekley. I thought Summer was the right choice. I thought Summer did a good job. I think Goldie did better, but it was, I have to say, one of the better battles of the season.
I mean, probably. All of the battles this season, except for maybe the last 2, were just not my cup of tea.
And I think it's difficult when you look at season 2, where every redemption battle is good.
They all felt close. Yeah.
Because at one point, I don't remember which one it is. Laomi walks off.
I know which one it was. It was LaBeija versus Alpha Omega.
Oh shit! It was LaBeija.
Yep.
Oh, LaBeija. Well, we'll get there, but Alan Meekley. Bye. That sounds really.
I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you. Like that's what it was for Alan Meekley.
Yeah.
All right. So House of Ada.
I honestly I don't know necessarily what it is. I just fell in love with this house. Like, I think, I don't know if it, I don't know. I go back and forth on whether they should have gone here. Because I actually thought their Animal Queendom performance was a really, really strong performance from them. Doing the poisonous frog moment. They go home. What was this category? It was
the horror house ball, which I think that was a really good theme.
I agree. They end up doing they do this like Egyptian moment where they're highlighting baby, which I thought was really lovely. I didn't think they were the worst house of that evening. Yeah. And they weren't the worst house by scores either.
Right. So so episode 3 and episode 4, like, and then even episode 5. Yeah.
Are we talking about the gag flag?
Yes. Yeah. So this season, the judges had what was called the gag flag, which they could only use it once throughout the whole entire season. They can throw the gag flag and it makes that house safe for the week. Immune for the week, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what it was. So episode 3, we get Alan Meekley in the bottom because who's Kiki Palmer threw the gag the gag flag for LaBeija, which sucks because I love LaBeija and I'm glad she threw that gag flag, but technically they had the lowest score that
they did
that episode. And so for this episode with Alpha Omega, they got their gag flag from Law.
Yeah.
And they were the second lowest score, but because he saved them, Ada got they were in the bottom.
Yeah. Which with to nobody's surprise, Machiavelli. Yeah, I don't think this performance warranted a bottom placement, and it's unfortunate. I also really like Alpha Omega. We'll get there. But I thought this would have been a lovely time to put Alpha Omega in the bottom and have them send Machiavelli home. But there was something just so captivating for me about Father Poppy, about Vanity, Baby. I thought was really, really captivating for me. Sephora and Virgo are also just incredible performers. I would have loved to see this house on like a season 4 or 5. And I think they would be a powerhouse.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
But I do appreciate them also representing for a different part of the country that we haven't seen before. Coming from the Pacific Northwest, Vanity talks a lot about, going to LA and then bringing this back to her home in the Pacific Northwest, and highlighting the fact that this is an area that is very predominantly white. And so having this safe space and community for queer people of color. Exactly. I really appreciate them.
I did too, but I feel like it kind of hurt them in the judges' eyes, Yeah, I could. Yeah, I do. I feel like it hurt them. Yeah. Was this the episode where Machiavelli got into it with La Roche?
I believe so.
Episode 4.
I believe so. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I thought they were done.
I truly thought they were done
because this would have been this was their 3rd time in the bottom already.
Yep. Yep.
I thought they were done
in a row.
Yeah. And so, and this was the weirdest thing of the season here, right? Yeah. So they give Machiavelli their scores. This was also where what was this the one where? No, it wasn't. Was it Aoki? Is Mother Aoki? That's
Yamamoto.
That's Yamamoto. Okay. She gets into it with Leomi later on in the season. Right?
Yes. What episode is that?
Yeah, I can't remember.
That's this episode.
Guys.
No, that's this episode.
Was that this one too? Okay.
I think so. This was a drama-packed episode because because she's dressed as a snake.
Right.
The whole snake. Yeah. So this is where Mother Aoki Lee gets into it with Leomi, and they have a beautiful resolution on stage, which I thought was great. Because you can tell that Mother Aoki Lee has so much respect for Leomi, and you can tell Leomi also has that respect for Mother Aoki Lee. And I really appreciated that, where in past seasons that hasn't always been reciprocated. And it wasn't the first time Mother Aoki Lee had gotten into it with someone. I think to what was it, episode 2, where backstage she gets into it with Father Vinny, Revlon.
Revlon, yep.
Which was fun. But yeah, this is kind of the drama packed episode.
Yeah. I thought it, because was it Mars told Law to meet him outside, and then when they came back on stage for the battle, Law got into his face. They were and before the battle, I was like, "Are y'all going home?" Like,
right?
And even in the battle, I was just like, I don't know, that battle again. I think it was so close again. Maybe
I thought it was so interesting as well because it ends up being a house parent battle. It's Father Poppy versus Mother Jada. For me, I think Father Poppy served a little bit better than Mother Jada did.
Okay.
I was interested as to why Mother Jada threw herself in at this point. And I understand it's 3 times in the bottom. But still, I don't know necessarily. I think it's because they maybe thought this was like an alley-oop situation where it wasn't necessarily. And so Mother Jada was like, I'm just going to take this opportunity where I think I have a good chance at winning.
That's what I think. But I also think, correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, guys. We're like trying to draw off of like our memory.
9 episodes worth of information.
9 episodes. Yeah, exactly. But I think this was also the episode where at one point during the house battles, Naomi was like, where's the Vogue femme? Like, where's the femme voguing? Because like there was, at this point, it felt like there was nobody was accentuating femme queen voguing. And so I think Mother Jada was like, okay, well, you're asking for it.
You want to see femme queen? I'll show you. Yeah, this is this is that moment.
Because and then you can see from this moment we get more and more of it throughout the season. And I just thought that this was a weird kind of turning point. Maybe it's the next episode, but the middle episodes here felt like a weird turning point. Maybe it was because by the next episode we get the categories, which I was like, finally, I was like, where are the categories?
Literally, I'm like, hi, I would like a category. Thank you. Give me a category.
Exactly.
I mean, Juicy Couture takes most of them throughout the season, but like, whatever. But yeah,
anything else about your House of Ada?
No, I just really like them. I was sad to see them go, but that's the show.
Naomi also said this is when she said you should be able to mute when you're watching voguing and still get chills. And I thought that was so prophetic because the whole last episode when they were doing the 360 spins into the dip, I was looking voraciously for videos of her doing that. And it's the same. Half of them I watched on mute and I was like, I get it, you know?
Well, we have reached the part of the program where we must once again discuss LaBeija. I'm just gonna start out by saying I love Aja. I think Aja is a phenomenal performer. But I think consistently across the season, Aja was the weak link in this house.
Ooh, okay.
And I know that's probably going to be a hot take, but when I look at the performances from LaBeija, Aja always seemed to be just a little bit off in timing, and like I think her skills are fantastic. But I think that also goes back to the conversation we had earlier about this house. I think this house specifically kind of being pieced together.
Yeah. I agree because honestly, we know that from Drag Race, Aja has always had some trouble picking up choreography. She, there's a big difference between being a dancer who can do choreographed dance and being a good freestyle dancer. I can tell you that personally because I suck at freestyle, but baby, I can do some choreography. And it goes both ways, you know what I'm saying? And Aja, which is kind of ironic because from Drag Race, if we're going just off Drag Race, she's known from like, is she gonna jump from there? Like she's good for her, her dancing. Like she's known for like her performance. Should I say?
She's known from her Vogue performance from All Stars 3. Like
exactly
that's what she's known for. Yeah, it was interesting for me.
And I think that was just their downfall. Unfortunately, I just think they could not gel together in choreographed all house production, which sucks because they didn't make it to the category part of the show, right?
They got one category.
Oh yeah, they got beat to beat. Okay, they did get one.
Which was slayed by Juicy Couture. But I also found it really ironic that LaBeija went home on the episode that Bob the Drag
Bob was there.
Judged. I was like,
rigor mortis, girl, rigor mortis.
Right? I was like, and the fact that they went home on the anime ball.
Huh?
Like, it just, a lot of things got put together. Now, I will say, this is also the third week in a row where a gag flag was thrown, this time by Jamila Jamil, for the house of Yoji Yamamoto.
Right.
Who did receive the second lowest score, pushing LaBeija into
the
bottom two with Alpha Omega.
Yeah. And yeah. This was the episode where I was like, I had totally forgot who Yoji Yamamoto, that they were there. Like, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit.
I had forgot that they were there. And like for LaBeija, it just sucks. But the I don't know. I have so many thoughts here because I felt like they could have given us more. They could have given us more. And honestly, they actually were there. They're beat to beat. That's what they were there for. But also, we messed up. Butch Queen Up in Drag was the first category last episode, but it was not good. That was not a good category. No. They did it. Nobody did it well. I think that's why we forgot about it. But Beat to Beat was actually pretty good. I actually really liked Beat to Beat. Right. Yeah, Juicy just kind of killed it, so nobody else could get any more points.
Here, what category did Juicy not slay? I think there's one.
I don't even remember, but
I'm gonna look really quick. I think there's literally one. Oh, that's a lie. Butch Queen Up in Drag Runway, Revlon wins.
But I'm just saying, like, it's just they definitely got better as it went along. But we're going around in circles. But it just sucked. It just sucked to see LaBeija. When LaBeija lost here, I was just kind of like, okay, well, now who am I rooting for? Like, I mean, I knew who I was rooting for because I love Juicy Couture and I love Revlon, but I felt like there was something missing with them not being there. And I think Naomi having to walk off, they had the battle. Who battled?
It was boom, 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 boom. It was Father Ronaldo, Alpha Omega, and then Zenith LaBeija.
Zenith,
he is
over here in the
right side of the photo.
Yeah,
honestly,
why?
Honestly, throw Frida in.
Somebody, he would not have been the one I would have thought to throw in there.
I think he did a good job, but honestly, I think if you want to show something a little bit, and I think that also goes back to Father Soho LaBeija. Because in the introduction, he talked about how he's only been a house parent for a year. And so I think that also maybe had something to do with the dynamic. Again, LaBeija specifically, as we've talked about the whole episode, kind of felt pieced together a little bit. But honestly, if you want to show something different to the judges, throw Frida in. Because episode 1, she's like, hi, I'm from Sweden. I walk old way. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I would like to see that in a battle. I think if you throw Frida against Father Ronaldo, I think that's such an interesting juxtaposition that I think I personally just would have wanted to see.
You wanted to see it. Yeah. I don't know. It was a very interesting battle. Again, third one in a row where honestly anyone could have won it. Yeah. I think Naomi walked off so she wouldn't have to vote against the House of LaBeija.
I think so too. Yeah.
I don't know if Alpha Omega really deserved to stay there. I don't know. Alpha Omega, to me, they were being dragged along. I really did not like the thirst of it all. Like,
yeah,
it made me so uncomfortable, to be quite honest.
We can move on to Alpha Omega.
Yeah, let's move on.
If you have anything else on
no,
but I was very happy to see LaBeija there. It was about damn time, honestly. With all of their legendary houses that have been on, I'm very happy that LaBeija was there. I wish they would have done better, but I also understand there seems to have been a lot of external factors preventing LaBeija from doing as well as they wanted to. But still lovely, beautiful. We got to see Aja on television again. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Well. I'm okay with that. So yes, Alpha Omega. I started out really liking Alpha Omega. I really liked their vibe. I thought being an all-male house really, I thought was obviously something very different because it's the first time we've seen that on the show. But as the season went on, I believe they got the highest score. Like they technically would have won Grand March Part 1.
They did win.
So if there had been a superior house for Grand March Part 1, or actually if there had been a superior house for Grand March period, it would have been Alpha Omega. But as the season went on, it just seemed like they were serving the same thing every week. And that's kind of where the issue became, because like I'm not going to sit here and say that they're not all incredibly attractive, because they are.
They are,
but
yeah.
I feel like they were not highlighting Adam in the way that they should have been highlighting Adam as someone who does the more Vogue femme style. I would have loved to see him highlighted a little bit more, whereas in most of the performances, they end up highlighting Father Ronaldo, which is not a bad thing because he's, I believe, also legendary. I could be very wrong. I'm probably very wrong.
Nope, he's legendary. Yep.
Okay, cool. But this house had also only been founded for 8 months at the time of filming. I also want to point out, if your house had been formed for 8 months, like no shade, why do you already have Alpha Omega tattooed on you? Like multiple people had Alpha Omega tattooed somewhere. I don't know. It's probably a part of ballroom culture that I just don't understand, nor will I ever. I'm not. That's no shade, but like, I was about to say that's like Black fraternity stuff. Like in Black fraternity, they normally get a branded or something like that. And this house gave off very that like it did. That is what it is. It gave very fraternity vibes. Yeah. Yeah, so, but I just think as the season went on, they just continued to serve the same thing over and over. Yeah. And I maybe would have chosen LaBeija over them in the last battle. Because thankfully, Machiavelli got a break from the bottom. So, like, good for you. Machiavelli did pretty decent in the anime ball. But they go back to being in the bottom 2 this episode. They did the teacher one, right? Was that them or was that Yamamoto? Sometimes I truly get them confused. That was Juicy Couture, I believe. Oh my god, I think it was. Jeez. It was Juicy. Like that. So Juicy served 2 in a row that we'll talk about when we get to best performances. Back to back anime Mission Impossible were like when I fell in love with Juicy Couture. I agree. Yeah, because they go home. So Alpha Omega goes home on the Mission Impossible, which I thought they also did not that bad.
What was their
it was like the 70s. This is where they finally decided to highlight Adam.
Yeah.
And the afro with like the one in the top left, I don't remember his name. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, they're trying to bring Shaft, but I agreed with the judges. Like the costuming did not scream Shaft. Like it was weird. The costuming. The Mission Impossible, yes, was definitely a step in the right direction. I think for most of the houses.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think even all the scores are decent. I mean, the low score is Machiavelli with a 39, but even then they got a 10 from Kiki. So this is where Kiki gives the 10.
Yeah, this is where she gives the 10.
And Jamila's like, we can't give a 10 for community service, Kiki.
Yes. Which is ironic coming from Jamila.
Right. But even then, like Alpha Omega scored a 42, and then if you look at the next house up, it was Revlon with a 47. So
yeah, but it was high scores all around the board here. Yeah. That makes sense.
So this ends up being, they decide to highlight Adam again. Too little, too late. But Adam goes into the redemption battle against Goldie. This is now Goldie's second redemption battle. And again, this one was kind of meh. It was a step in the right direction. Because I thought Adam did really well, and I thought Goldie is obviously a phenomenal performer. But this was another one where I genuinely was like, I don't know which way it's going to go. Are they finally going to send Machiavelli home after their fourth time in the bottom? Oh no, we're not sending Machiavelli home. Okay. Cool. Party.
Yeah. Exactly that.
And that's no shade because they're talented, but just like.
And this was the one where it came down to Jake Wesley Rogers because Kiki, this is the one where Kiki had, the past 2 times Machiavelli had been the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a battle show. Like at that point it was kind of like it doesn't even matter what the performance was. It's like you cannot be in the bottom this many times. And
what you're gonna do isn't necessarily what you want to do isn't necessarily what you're gonna do.
Exactly.
I very felt that. Like it feels like when a queen on Drag Race is in the bottom for the 4th time, and you just like know there's almost no hope. But then somehow they get saved. I don't think that's actually ever happened.
Well, Cameron Michaels was in the bottom 4 times and still made it to the finale.
I think Coco as well was in the bottom 4 times. I need to brush up on my
Peppermint knowledge. Peppermint was in the bottom 3 times, I think, and made it to the final.
I thought it was twice.
Was it twice? Maybe it was twice.
Cynthia Lee Fontaine, the Boom Boom, and Macho Man. She lip synced 4 times on the season.
True. But yeah, no, you're right.
There's so many seasons of Drag Race now.
I missed it. I told you I watched Drag Race just when I had COVID. I rewatched season 3 and season 4 for shits and giggles. Like it's the only thing that comforts me. It comforts the hell out of me.
Oh, if I need something on in the background, now it's either Legendary or Drag Race. But yeah, I feel like it was Alpha Omega's time to go. They weren't really giving anything new or different, and I thought it was a step in the right direction what they did in the Mission Impossible, but
yeah, the Mission Impossible definitely was the step up, like for everybody, like we said. All right, the next episode, I guess we might as well just kind of go through the episode real quick because the Fairy Tale Moneyball episode, Logan,
great,
amazing,
phenomenal.
I wonder if it's like, you know how they say like with Drag Race, if they want a performance to be really good, they give them more time to rehearse.
It felt like there was more time.
Okay, I'm just wondering if it was just me.
No.
Or was it just because there's threat of nobody going home that it just
I think that
also
has to do with it. Yeah, everyone stepped up their game.
Can we talk about though? Okay, so just for this episode here, right? So the way it's broken down is you get the first time the challenge is the all house production, and it's like fairy tale themed dancing, right? That comes to $15,000, right?
With the focus being synchronized formation and stunts.
Right. Okay. And then second challenge is 3 fab mice, which is basically that's like runway, right? Was that
It's 3 people doing runway in synchronized runway.
Right. And then the third challenge was Tweedledee Tweedle Stunts, where it's just 2 people doing stunt work.
Yeah.
So in the first one, the all house production, I did not like Revlon's. I didn't understand.
I didn't either. Oh my God.
I was so confused. I'm like, what? This is sloppy as shit.
Okay.
Like, what is happening?
Can I give a very controversial opinion?
Please. It's your show.
My favorite from the all house production from the Fairy Tale Moneyball was Machiavelli.
Which one did they do?
Oh, it was oh God.
Not us forgetting.
But I definitely remember them being my favorite because I was like, am I a Machiavelli fan now?
Oh wait! I have it here. I have it pulled up. That was dumb.
Fabulous.
So
I appreciate it because I don't.
No. I do. Okay, give me a second. We're the worst.
They scored the lowest, which I was kind of It was So Revlon wins the all house production with a 49.
Okay, yeah, because this was also where the scores were
not revealed.
Yeah, they weren't revealed, which I actually love when they do that because I feel like it's less like tampering, really.
Well, and also I feel like if you're watching it and you keep track of the scores, then you know who's in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like a little bit of suspense personally, but yeah. So Revlon scores 49 here, which I did not agree with. Juicy Couture gets a 47, Yoji Yamamoto gets a 43, and Machiavelli gets a 40.
Okay, so Yamamoto did the Aladdin themed one,
which I really liked as well.
I thought it was okay. Juicy Couture, they had my favorite, and they did Little Red Riding Hood, which
it was also very good.
Come on, because was this the one where twerking was also or is that later?
I think that's the next episode.
I remember Grandma twerking though at the fairy tale ball. Fairy tale ball. This was the twerking one.
Oh, this was twerking. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, 9 episodes, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's not even on the wiki. So they did, and then Machiavelli did Alice in Wonderland. That was good. You're right.
I thought it was really, really good. It's the best Mother Jada had performed. It's the most in sync the house had been, in my opinion. I just I thought they excelled. Mm-hmm. And so to see
they got scores, the lowest scores.
They got the lowest. They got a 40.
Oh,
so that's 8s across the board, basically.
8s across the board. We don't know the show too, though. I think they open, so that kind of hurts. I think sometimes that can hurt sometimes.
Yeah, but we do see Revlon win this category with then the second challenge. 3 Fab Mice ends up going to Juicy Couture,
which well earned. I mean, Juicy Couture outwalked every single one of those houses. How did all of those houses have really big missteps in walking?
Who was it that royally fucked up?
All of them. Logan, basically all of them. I think it was Yoji
Yamamoto. I think it was.
Yamamoto. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they really messed up. I think Machiavelli really messed up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because that's the one I'm thinking of, because Mother Jada messes up. And then they're posing at the end of the runway, and she's just like,
it was bad. Juicy Couture, they killed the other houses messed up on just the walking part. They messed up on just walking in sync. Meanwhile, Juicy Couture is not only walking in sync, they're doing twists, turns, poses, triple poses. All in sync.
Well, I was going to say someone from one of the houses gets blocked from competing, and I don't remember who it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember either.
I really wish I'd taken better notes, honestly. Wasn't it?
See, this is why you should also go and watch Legendary Season 3.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about how good it is, but if you want all the little details, you can go and watch it on
We're
HBO
keeping
Max.
so many details out because...
On purpose.
Totally. I think it was someone from... I think it might have been Mara Machiavelli, now that I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was...
Either way, we gotta keep a move on. The Tweedledee stunts one was bad. It was all bad.
Revlon was the best of the bad.
Best of the bad. The stunts were horrendous. Juicy Couture did a good job because they didn't do any stunts. They were
literally.
They were in
stunts. Where are they?
Where are the stunts?
Where are the stunts?
They look good.
Where are the stunts?
Oh, but they got rightfully chopped because there were no stunts. So we ended up with Revlon and their weird sloppy stunts. So, and Revlon takes Superior House. They take the money ball.
Revlon wins what, 20,000, I think it is.
Yes.
And Juicy Couture takes home 10.
10.
So good on you.
Good
for you. We have finally reached the portion of the program where we finally get to talk about Machiavelli, because we've kind of done it the whole time because they've been very relevant. And I have to say, I have to give major props for surviving 4 redemption battles.
Yeah.
That in itself is legendary.
It truly is.
And that's known for that, but it's impressive.
Yeah, making it to the final 4, right? They made it to the final 4. That's stunning, you know.
And there was only, in the time that they were a part of the season, there is only in the functions they competed in, there is only one function where they were not in the bottom 2.
Is it LaBeija. 2 technically? Because of
it's 2 technically, but they didn't
Moneyball.
Well, no, it was the Grand March Part 2.
Oh,
because they didn't compete in the Grand March Part 2 because they competed in the Grand March Part 1. So it would have been episode 2, and then technically the Moneyball, so I guess 3.
Yeah.
But even then, if there was a redemption battle, they would have been in the bottom. So, and then when LaBeija gets sent home by Alpha Omega was the only time they place high this season.
Yeah.
Their track record is bottom 2, bottom 2, bottom 2, high, bottom 2, low for the Moneyball, eliminated.
Dang.
And I don't think there's a house that has a worse track record. But I have to say, they're just so talented.
They are. It's just, people have strengths. They have strength and they have weaknesses. And the weakness for them was definitely just in-sync group
coordination.
Yeah. Dancing.
Individually, all 5 of them are absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, exactly. We get the hot in the shade ball, and this was a fun episode.
This might have been my favorite. This might have been my favorite, honestly. But yes.
I thought I thought Juicy Couture's track, I really liked their track. I think that was a little light on the shade. I thought it was funny how they critiqued other people for being light on the shade when I thought Juicy Couture's was light on the shade, but I thought Juicy Couture's was really I could listen to that over and over again.
My favorite track for the shade, no shade, was Machiavelli.
Yeah. Yep.
They're like, hi, we sent everybody home.
Hilarious. But I mean, those all house productions. I think Juicy Couture got another 50 here. I think this was their second 50 in a row on this episode.
There were a lot of 50s given.
We said we were not going to go episode by episode, but we just did it. It doesn't matter.
Well, so here's the problem. Technically, this episode they receive a 60.
Right. Yes.
Because they also win.
This
they win Sex
episode,
Siren.
dog. Yes.
They cleared.
So. Oh my God! Like this is we're gonna should we wait and talk about the challenges later?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, let's.
I don't really have a whole lot else to say about Machiavelli. We've kind of already talked about them a lot.
Yeah.
But they're talented. I loved seeing them. I was ready for them to go.
Exactly. And then let's move on to the sleigh ground and the playground ball. This was the final ball. This is episode 9, the penultimate. This is where we'll stop. This is where
it's sad.
Guest judge Dominique Jackson shows back up.
I was not sad. I was not sad about Dominique. I love that they showed the full receipt of the fight from season 1.
Yes, they did. The whole thing. Yeah, that was funny. They're like, "Oh, remember this?"
And then I love the little like reunion makeup. They've probably talked outside of this, Law and Dominique. I feel like probably. And this Mari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this episode
we lose Revlon.
On top of that, so Revlon they've been like Juicy Couture has been carrying, of course, but Revlon was right there too, like getting Superior House.
The only other house to win Superior House.
Yeah, I was stunned. Like from the moment Revlon was on our screen in the Grand March, I was like, I thought they were making it to the finals. So I really did not like this. And I didn't like the challenges either. I didn't like the duck walk. No. This is playground. So I didn't like the duck walk where they were like with the baton. It was weird. Yeah. The run, like it was, if those categories felt really weird to me. I was like, what is happening? And then it didn't even matter because Juicy Couture, I think this is where they got this is where they got their second 50. This is where they got a score of 50. And then Yamamoto got such a bad score that even with them winning the Duck Walk Goose and Runway the Funway challenge, they didn't catch up. Like, they couldn't catch up.
The only way for Juicy Couture to be in the bottom is if Revlon had swept the other 2 categories, because because Revlon would have then had a 53, where Juicy Couture would have had a 50.
That's what I thought. Mm-hmm.
So it was not their second 50. This was their 5th 50.
Was it their 5th, or was it at least like the 3rd in a row or something like that?
Second in a row.
Okay, because I remember
there are 3 challenges this season where they do not score 50.
Oh wait, are you including? Sorry, I when I say the 50, I'm only including the judges categories. That's what I meant. I don't include the ones that they end up winning. But I agree. I get what you're saying.
Noted.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I say the 50.
Amending my statement to say the 4th 50.
Okay.
Because the anime ball, they get 9s across the board and win the category, so that brings them to 50. Gotcha. But episode 4, 50. Episode 5, 45 plus 5. Episode 6, 50 plus category win. Episode 8, 50 plus double category win to give them 60. Wow,
they just slayed.
We didn't even talk about episode 8, where the only person left with a gag flag is Laomi, and she's like, you know what, y'all got a 50 here, have a gag flag. And I'm like, okay, work. Like,
exactly. She was like,
it was well deserved.
It was well deserved. Yeah, exactly. At that point, I'm glad because I'm glad because it didn't affect the outcome really. You know?
I agree. I appreciated that Laomi took that route.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas everybody else like saved a house they liked throughout the season. I appreciated that Laomi saved hers until the end and was like, you know what, you have a 50. You're obviously going to go through. Here, have the gag flag. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is like a symbolic one. Like you're getting Laomi's gag flag. Yeah, like it's like
that's the one you want to get too. Exactly. Like the other ones hold weight, obviously, because they're judges. But getting Laomi's is truly legendary, if you will. But yeah, so this was Juicy Couture's fourth tens across the board. We'll say
that. Exactly. So so we get Yamamoto and House of Revlon in the bottom, and this again comes to a tie where Dominique Jackson has to break the tie for Yamamoto versus Revlon and sends Revlon home, which I just and basically, and again, this was a good battle, like the Machiavelli Revlon battle, and then the Yamamoto Revlon.
Mother Jada and Gigi was a phenomenal battle. Devo and Mother Kiona was the best battle of the season.
Yes, exactly. Oh, exactly. Right.
Because like I just am truly obsessed with Mother Kiona Revlon. Mm-hmm. She captivated me from the first moment they were on screen. I mean, the whole house did. Mm-hmm. But she truly just grabbed me in a way I wasn't expecting. This whole house captivated me in such an interesting way. I can't deny Devo's talent, though. Mm-hmm. And Mother Aoki Lee was smart to throw the one time they're in the bottom, you throw Devo in. Mm-hmm. You absolutely throw Devo into the redemption battle because Devo is going to carry every single time.
Yeah. Oh, this is.
Do I think Yamamoto won the redemption battle, though? I'm not too sure.
Yeah. I'm so sad.
I am too.
So now we get House of Yamamoto versus Juicy Couture in the finale, which we will see this Wednesday, right? Yeah. It's just Thursday. Is it Thursday? This Thursday. Jeez, y'all. This Thursday, the 9th, it drops. Yeah. And I think we'll all be surprised if it's not a Juicy Couture win, right?
Yeah.
Now we got to get into our superlatives because I think we kind of held back on a lot of stuff. Yes. To try and get into it. So yeah, let's go. We're good. We can keep it rolling. So
I think is there anything specifically we want to say about Yoji Yamamoto or
Juicy Couture that has been said? No, I think we did a great job. I mean, this is not what I thought. It is very it's very much shades of Miyake Mugler versus Balenciaga in the final.
Right.
But that felt closer to me. This doesn't feel close at all.
Unless everyone in Juicy Couture like falls.
Right, and break a leg, like literally.
I feel like that's really the only scenario where Juicy Couture doesn't win. And honestly, it would be a well-deserved victory. I was going to project, and I kind of already discussed it a little bit when talking about Juicy Couture specifically, but we do have the whole voting chart. And I just want to project that super quickly. So there's that.
Wow. High, win, high, win.
Literally. The only house to win a superior house other than Juicy Couture is Revlon.
Yeah.
I kind of feel I kind of feel as taken aback by Revlon not making the final as I am Tishi, honestly.
Yeah.
Tishi was just a gag because it was fifth. They were fifth.
Yeah.
And I really, really love Yoji Yamamoto. I think they're a phenomenal house. I just didn't expect them to be in the final two, and I'm happy for them, obviously. But for me personally, I think I would have rather had Revlon.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But yeah, it's wild. They get 4 10s across the board, 5 superior houses for Juicy Couture. They're low. They did not, other than Grand March, they did not receive a score under 47.
Well, it just sucks. It just sucks. It just does not feel as close. It just does not feel close. Like,
no,
it doesn't. It doesn't feel close at all. So
superlatives.
So I'll ask you first. What was your best performance of the season, and maybe what's the worst performance of the season to you?
I mean, we kind of already talked about worst performance. It's gonna be House of Light.
Yeah.
Sorry, no shade.
No shade.
I have 3 actually for best
Logan.
performance.
That's not how that works.
I'm gonna give 2 honorable mentions. I do have a number 1.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give my honorable mentions are going to be The House of Ada for the Animal Queendom.
Okay.
And it was really difficult picking between these 2, but my other honorable mention is going to be Juicy Couture in The Impossible.
Really? Okay.
And my number 1 is going to be Juicy Couture in The Anime Ball. That is the moment that I fell in love with Juicy Couture as a house. And I was like, this is a house I can root for. This is a house I want to root for.
I agree.
So,
I agree with those. Mine, personally, my favorite performance, I want to say the one that probably gave me the most chills would be I liked Juicy Couture's Hot in the Shade Ball. I loved it. I loved every single second of it. I liked how it felt like a throwback beach party. They had the Jamaican. I loved it. That was my favorite. That was my favorite.
You could honestly pick any performance by Juicy Couture.
Any
just the House of Juicy Couture, best performance. We kind of already talked about themes a little bit, Mari, but give favorite, least favorite theme.
So, like, in theory, I guess, I'm like looking over the things. Like, in theory, the Mission Impossible was a cute theme.
Yes.
And I thought the houses themselves did really well in that one. But I'm trying to think of the theme itself. I'm trying to take the actual performances out and just think of like the theme itself. And I think I really liked the horror house ball. I don't know, something about trying to scare the shit out of people.
That's where I'm going as well. That was my favorite.
Was it executed well by most of the houses? No. But I liked it. I liked the theme. Yeah, I don't even think it was executed well by Laura Roach, but whatever. I thought it was. I like that one.
No shade.
Yeah.
But
maybe honorable mention to the anime. That anime episode was really good too.
The anime was good.
I
think my honorable mention. I liked the Fairy Tale Money Ball.
Yes. Yeah.
A classic theme across all sorts of media. It seems fantastical and lovely. So,
worst theme I think we agreed was Animal Queendom.
Yeah,
too vague.
Like,
too vague.
Yeah.
All right. We already said the worst category. I think did you agree that the worst category was like that really weird relay, the
relay, yeah,
the duck walk goose relay run fun way, that was weird. But let's talk about the best categories because we completely skipped over it just so we could fawn over it for the 2 best categories from the same freaking episode. Logan, let's start with sex siren category. Logan, why am I'm sweating. I am over here sweating.
I was. Oh, absolutely.
Lose. It was Lose, right? And not was it Gigi?
I believe.
No, not Gigi Revlon. It was
it was they had Nunoy.
Yeah, they had Nunoy. Was it Lolita?
It was Lolita Juicy Couture, yeah.
Yes, Lolita Juicy Couture versus Lose. What? So much ass. I loved it.
I am a homosexual. And I was turned on.
We both like men, and we were both.
Yes.
I'm like, am I questioning some things over here?
I think I was in this moment. Like, honestly. And I thought Nunoy did a really good job as well in this category. And then who walked for Yamamoto?
I'm not sure.
Oh, wait. Lolita. No. Who walked for Machiavelli? Because Luz walked for Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It was a Machiavelli. One of them. Yeah.
I don't know. It does not matter because it was all about Luz and Lolita. Like, I thought half of me would have gone with Luz. I think I
would have gone with Luz.
Okay, I think Luz should have won.
I agree.
If she would have won, right? If she would have won that,
would that have impacted anything?
I don't think so.
Because that was episode 8.
That was episode 8, and Yamamoto, they were safe. They weren't in the bottom.
Yep, Yamamoto was solidly safe.
So
they would have still been second place, because had everything went the same way, Juicy Couture would have had 55 and Yamamoto would have had 51.
Okay, yeah. I probably would have given that to Luz, because I thought she did great. Yeah, I agree completely. Great. And who she but it came down to Kelly Rowland had to decide, and she went with
Kelly Rowland. I was so gagged. Yeah. I love her. I would love her.
So that was such a good category. I was like, damn, these girls are doing it.
Coupled with the other best category of the season.
Oh my God. Logan, I have watched this category like at least 20 times.
I have
before
watched
you even
Juicy
asked me
Couture
to do this.
In this category.
Yes,
20 times.
Specifically.
I think everyone does great in this category, honestly. I think my second may have been Machiavelli, actually. I don't think they made the second round. But I really liked the way everybody was working together, coupled with Mother Jada serving the face. Her face is beautiful. So like I loved the coupling of that, but like Juicy Couture.
The second category is Octopus Puss, and it's hand performance. It's just 4 members of each house are directly behind each other doing isn't that like the Bob Fosse like
it's very Fosse, yeah. I believe Fosse took inspiration from the ballroom scene. I could be very wrong.
No, that sounds about right, but basically you stand right behind each other and you do hand performance. Oh my God. If you have not seen this, go watch this.
Hand performance is my favorite element of Vogue. And so anyone who can serve great hand performance for me, it captivates me. And I believe it was Revlon and Juicy Couture that make the final. And Revlon does great. I think Revlon did phenomenal. Juicy Couture with this fucking car. The car?
I think it was an airplane. Either way.
The vehicle they were doing, I don't care what it was. I don't care. I don't care, Mari. I don't.
And who was it? Who was it in the front? Was that Kamaya? Kamaya was in the front.
Yeah, Kamaya. Kamaya finally getting an opportunity to shine, which I love. I love Kamaya. I love this whole house, but like Kamaya and Brooklyn for me.
Brooklyn
was one of these episodes. Again, don't remember which. Sorry, didn't take notes. 9 episodes in one 2-hour segment. Brooklyn at one point gets a hug from Laomi, and I loved that moment of Laomi just fully recognizing this is a star.
I think that was this episode for
I believe it was
shade when their house performance.
Because she gets highlighted in the all house, and I thought it was this episode. I couldn't remember.
I think it is this episode.
I'm pretty sure it is. Now that we're talking it through, I think one of them, probably this one. But I love the moment. But yes, the 2 best categories for sure: Sex Siren and Octopus.
Can we I think the thing that made Juicy Couture's hand performance the best thing is because they still had this Jamaican theme going throughout that episode, and so they had I think it was yellow on the front and then red in the back, and their hands, like this side of their hands were yellow, I think it was, and this side was red, or inverse, whatever.
Like
but either way, they had 2 different colors on both sides of their hands, and it was full sleeve, full gloves, and it just accentuated everything that their hands did, and the precision. Like Logan said, at one point they made it so it was like Kamaya was driving like an airplane. It was the coolest thing I had ever seen in my entire life, and it was the precision of it all, like truly the precision, and the fact that they stayed aligned the whole time. They used levels. Like at one point they used levels. They did like the head sliding up and down thing. They did it all. I just rewatched them. And then I was like, okay, I gotta watch the other houses. So I went back, I watched the other houses, but I'm like, why are you guys stepping from at one point, one of the houses stepped from behind
It
each
was
other.
Revlon.
Was it
Revlon
Revlon?
goes like Revlon does like a 2 and 2, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but no, that's not the category.
And then I think at some point, but I think also another house did it too, where it was like where the one person stayed in the middle and then two people popped their heads out. And
I think it was Yamamoto.
I don't know, Yamamoto, yeah. It was just like Juicy Couture freaking killed that. I mean, and the judges' faces the whole entire time. I'm about to go rewatch it again once we get off.
Honestly, if y'all don't watch anything from this season, watch that hand performance from Juicy Couture.
It was so good.
And the Impossible, and the Anime Ball, and the Hot and the Sun
and
Ball.
Everything they've ever done.
Yeah, and everything they've done this season.
Honestly, that was so good. I've watched it so many times, Logan. The chills every time. The chills that you get watching them. I loved it. It definitely took me back to like watching like So You Think You Can Dance and stuff like that. Like when you see a good performance. Oh my gosh. And then, so what's the next
judges? Let's talk about the guest judges again for a bit. Mari, I think we both agree on our least favorite.
Yes, I still don't know his name.
White Twink. Moving on. Favorite guest judge. This is a bit more competitive.
Yes. So for me, I just have to. I'm a homer. I gotta go with Bob the Drag Queen. I am a patron over there. Bob and Monet are like they are my faves. I am going to go see them. It is. I am stand 10 toes down for Bob the Drag Queen, and I don't care. I thought the best thing was him kind of giving it back a little bit to Roach, to Law Roach. That was kind of funny, but also him being there for the fight for like one of the fights, and he was like.
It gave me very drag queens drinking out of straws moment. Like,
yes.
Everything.
Bob's face was funny, but I mean, I think I know who yours is, right?
It's difficult because I think all of the other guest judges this season genuinely did a really good job.
Really good, yeah.
I loved every single one. Even Anita being like, I just don't like the performances that you guys like. I'm going to give everyone a 10. Like,
Anita was funny. She was funny.
I loved Anita. For me, as much as I love the other fabulous guest judges that we had this season, it's Dominique Jackson, point blank, period. It's going to be Dominique Jackson. It's always going to be Dominique Jackson.
Even though she got rid of your face?
Yes.
Okay.
Because she's honestly someone that if you take Jamila Jamil out of the equation, put Dominique Jackson in that spot. Like, Pose is over now. You can put her in that spot. And then you have at least someone, no shade to Law Roach, you have at least someone else on the panel other than Laomi who has a real, true experience in the ballroom.
Yeah.
And I would really love to see that.
And I wonder, like, I don't presume to know Laomi, but do you think she would want that? I would love. I think she likes being the voice.
I think she likes being the voice. I also see a universe where I think she would like to have someone who knows the technical things a little bit better. Because right now, the person she fights with on technical things is Jamila. And we all know Jamila doesn't know what she's talking about. I think, from what I gather from watching 3 seasons of Laomi, as well as multiple other things, because I am truly obsessed with this woman, I think she would love to have someone else who knows the technical things as well, and the arguments they would have. They would have, not even necessarily Dominique Jackson, but just somebody else from the ballroom community that's really well known. I would say, honestly, someone that we'll be seeing on our TVs very soon, Kitty from Drag Race France, who's going to be one of the panelists. He is a staple in the French ballroom scene. Specifically the Parisian ballroom scene. Kitty Smile. I would love to see him come over. I think that would be really fun.
Giving for like a guest or
a permanent. I'd be cool either way. I think because he is in the ball scene, has been for I think a couple decades at least. And I would love seeing the domestic versus the international perspectives when it comes to the technique of Vogue. I think that would be really fun.
I agree.
But yeah, Dominique Jackson is going to be my honorable mention. I was going to say Bob, but I'll give it to somebody else. My honorable mention would be Leslie Jones. Just
Leslie, yes.
I love seeing her on my TV at any given moment. So, and then real quick before we wrap up, favorite individual. I don't want to do least favorite because they're all talented.
Exactly. Same.
Favorite individual.
It's hard because you have so many good ones. You have like Brooklyn Juicy Couture, DYU stepped up. I mean, all of the Juicy Couture. Devo carrying
Yamamoto.
Just carrying. Gigi Revlon, right?
Yeah. I have mine.
Okay. Who you got?
Mine might come as a surprise.
Okay.
We've kind of talked about them a little bit throughout the program. For me, the person that I'm just the most captivated by every single time she's on the floor is Luz Yamamoto.
Yeah, Luz is
every single time,
right? Yeah.
Every single time she's on the floor, I'm captivated. I'm looking at her. I want to know what she's doing. I want to see her succeed. So for me, it's gonna be Luz, but there are so many phenomenal performers on this season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know that I just thought of Mother Kiana.
Right.
It's hard. And even Mother Jada, like
Mother Jada is phenomenal.
So but I think I gotta go with Brooklyn though. You just gotta go with Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And honestly, it could be a 3-way tie with her, Kamaya, Lolita. Honestly, the Juicy Couture girls are just
Juicy Couture, period.
Oh my god.
Father Day. I don't want to take him out of the equation. Father Day is a phenomenal performer in his own right.
So I gotta go with Brooklyn. If you're a star, baby. You're a star. Like, come on, the future of ballroom, as she said. So I definitely I gotta go with that. How about No, what were you about to say?
Imagine Brooklyn is like a judge, like season 6 or 7 or something. If Naomi decides she wants some time off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I was gonna ask, what was the best fight this season for you?
Oh, Law versus Mara.
Yeah.
Duh. I think honorable mention for me is gonna be Mother Aoki Lee and Father Vinny. In the backstage moment.
Yeah, the backstage moment. I gotta do Kiki versus Law. Kiki shut him the hell up.
I gotta do
it. I gotta do it. Any other like best moments overall from this season?
Definitely the Brooklyn Naomi moment. We talked about it. I thought that was a lovely moment. Getting a lot more confessional moments with individual members of the houses this season, I also thought was really, really special. Because we didn't really get a whole lot of that on season 1 and 2, where I felt like I got to know people in the houses like on a surface level. But I feel like this season I got to know a lot of the individuals of especially like the final 4 houses a little bit more, and I really like that. So I'm gonna go with that overall.
Yeah. I agree.
The Mission Impossible as a whole.
Yeah.
Not everyone slayed that.
I think, and I would have to go with like the fairy tale ball. I think was like my favorite. Not my favorite ball, but I thought the fairy tale ball, the money ball felt really good. Like I really like that.
That was
fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think
that's that. 2 hours.
I know.
To cover 9 episodes, and we did it. So
many things, but again, we didn't cover all of the things. So go watch it. It's like, why aren't you? Are you not watching Legendary season 3? Like, go watch it.
You should
people.
be. Yeah. You should be. But Mari, thank you so much for joining me. This was a pleasure as always. You are a beacon of light for me, and I appreciate you endlessly.
Stop it.
And you'll be back. There's plenty of Drag Race to cover. So
I was just about to say, we got to do more.
If not anything else, there's plenty of Drag Race to cover.
I have been itching to cover Drag Race. So just, let me know.
Absolutely.
And I'll be there. Can I do my plugs?
Of course.
All right. So, you can follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's two like the number two. It's this lovely banner here.
Link will be in the description below as well.
Yes. Every week, me and my awesome co-host Matt Scott do the Wrestling Rahap podcast over on the RHAP network, the Rob Has a Podcast network. So all of our any wrestling fans out here listening, you can go and go to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed to subscribe to our wrestling channel. Like each week we go over the highlights of the week in wrestling from like WWE, AEW, and like news from the wrestling world. So and you don't even have to watch. Like we are really good at like explaining everything for casual fans, and we're on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube.
I've watched a few and I know nothing about wrestling, so
yes. Thank you, Logan. Yeah, if you watch us on YouTube, go to Rob Has a Podcast on YouTube, search Wrestling Rahapa, and we do exactly like this. We get the video going, we bring up the pictures, so we make it way easier. I'm also on the Rob Has a Podcast network, bringing True Crime Tuesdays to RHAP, where me and Sarah Carradine, we host a true crime review podcast where we actually like watch true crime like documentaries, docuseries, stuff like that. When we review it, and we give you our recommendations for more. So we say we watch it so you don't have to, or we go and tell you to watch it. Yeah. And it's really great. You can follow us on Twitter at Crime Scene RHAP. That's Crime Scene SEEN RHAP at Twitter. And then you can subscribe at robhasawebsite.com/crime feed. And so yeah, that's been so fun too. So right now that's all I'm doing.
Love it. And as always, if you're not following the Cup, please do, because we're great. Follow Mari because she's lovely. But you can follow us at the Cup_reality on Twitter for all of the most up-to-date Cup news. We've got a lot of content coming down the pipeline very shortly. Lots of Drag Race as always. Survivor South Africa, which I'm very, very excited about. Yeah. Big Brother 24, of course.
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. The Bachelorette, right around the corner.
Ooh, Bachelorettes.
The double season, Bachelorette season, I'm very excited about. And just all of our current content, current Drag Race content. I think that's literally the only thing we're putting out at the moment. Drag Race and Legendary, because we're in our low season. But we will be ramping up, doing all kinds of coverage for Big Brother 24. So make sure to stay tuned to that. And follow me on Twitter if you want. I tweet about dumb shit, so if you are interested in that, follow me, sure. Yeah. And with that, cheers to you, Mari.
Cheers.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. So long, farewell. Goodbye. Bye-bye now.